What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are doing a 2-year update kind of on my friend Connor's car situation. So just over 2 years ago he and I were filming a video with your white WRX.
Yeah.
Fast forward, you now have a beautiful blue, I will say, WRX STI. So we're gonna go over some cool things with his car, because why did you sell the old one again?
Well, I'm gonna let you guys know because I got a lot of heat in the comments from that last video. So I loved that WRX, but I went to school and was jobless for about 9 months and I could not afford a car payment. So in turn, I bought myself a 2005 Nissan Altima for $2,000. And that was my car for the last 2 years. So I truly had no choice and had to get rid of it. But here I am with a job again. And
I will say, a pretty cool job, if you want to say.
yes, flight school was completed and I'm now an airline pilot. So
he sold it for pretty darn good reason.
yes, and here is my new toy. Upgraded I should say, to the STI. So we're gonna talk about a couple things in this video. The last one I talked a lot about the perks of the WRX over the STI. So I need to kind of backtrack a little bit on that and kind of explain why I now have an STI.
All right, well, let's go for a ride and talk about it. Alright guys, you join us now, and I am behind the wheel of your newly purchased WRX STI.
Yeah.
So, first order of business, I guess, the title of this video is kind of going to be, is the WRX STI the ultimate daily driver? 2 years ago we filmed your WRX, and that was the same title. So now, 2 years later, you're in a different situation in life, and now you're in the big boy version of the same car. This now is probably an even better ultimate daily driver because it obviously is the next step up. So kind of give me your thoughts of, now, why did you justify the extra cost for this car from the old car? Because obviously in the last video you were really impressed with the bang for the buck with the old car, which it is.
Yeah. But
this car, you obviously made the decision to pull the trigger on it. So let's hear those thoughts.
So, best daily driver, that's a very loose term. I almost would still give the crown to the WRX for the best daily driver, truly. Now, when you cross into the next step as an enthusiast,
yeah,
and this is what really matters to you, then this becomes the better car.
Okay. Interesting.
So thinking back to when I had the WRX, at this point I had that for about a year, and I've had this for, I mean, I've been able to put about 2,000 miles on it, so comparable enough.
Yeah.
I determined that the WRX truly, what the feeling it gives you is, it's a sporty economy car at the end of the day.
Okay.
It is a great car for what it is. It gets good gas mileage. It's practical, big truck, all the seats you need, but it doesn't quite give you that feel of true sports car.
Gives you a little taste of it, I guess.
Yes,
right?
yes. Like if you really want that just extra step, I want something, but I don't need it all. Then you jump up to this STI, and what I figured out with this is, okay, for those who really need to get that visceral feel, this is the car.
So it's almost a different perspective than what you had last time.
Yes.
Because last time you weren't necessarily looking for that type of sports car performance. You were wanting a good daily that was fun.
Yes.
Now you have that, but that extra performance, because we just did a mountain road trip. He joined us 200 miles in the mountains.
Yeah.
So where you've used whether this car is better than the other one at.
Yes.
So
yes.
how did that show you that this was, I guess, the next step up? Like, what'd you notice?
Well, I guess the best way to approach that is to kind of rebuttal on what I said about how I didn't think at first this was worth the extra 10 grand. And now, where do I think the 10 grand is worth it?
Yeah.
And I would put that into big 3 categories: is performance, transmission, and brakes.
Okay.
Which all came into huge play during that mountain trip.
Yeah.
This does have an extra punch. The extra 40-ish horsepower, it makes a difference. And it's not as laggy as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's in about mid RPM range.
Yeah.
The brakes are phenomenal. I had
6 piston
up front, Brembos up front. Had no issues with any kind of fade on that trip. They handled phenomenally. And then the transmission.
Yeah.
The different modes, the differentials, it has a lot more capabilities.
Yeah, this definitely has more of that top end that's actually like,
yes,
we're moving. I mean, that was...
That it feels good to be in this seat, be put back in the seat.
And that was half throttle. I mean, I wasn't going too crazy.
No, I mean, I definitely feel a huge difference from the WRX. That WRX had a lot of usability through the city with, you know, the twin scroll turbo, low end boost, great car, truly great. But I realized that at the end of the day, I got the WRX because it was the closest I could get to getting this at the time.
Right.
So
which makes sense. I mean, that's how we're all stepping up. So
exactly.
That's kind of how it is.
So for that intermediate range, when this may be out of your budget, the WRX is a phenomenal compensation.
Right.
It really is.
And even just getting on it now, like this has more of that edge of your seat performance where it's like I'm in a sports car now, so I need to really pay attention.
How do those brakes feel?
They bite. So yeah, those big old brakes now, like hitting them, really composed. You can tell this has that extra performance that's like, okay.
To sum everything up, to really tie in these last two videos, if you truly are an enthusiast and you really want every aspect of the driving experience to be tuned up, then yes, that 8 to 10 grand is truly worth it.
Yeah.
Because everything is sharper in this car.
Yeah, we're on the same road as last time, and you can tell it's just like the handling sharper,
100%.
the power delivery, the braking. It's the next step up, which makes sense. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And yeah, it gives you that extra fun factor, but you still get, like at the end of the day, you still have the interior space, the trunk. Gas mileage isn't that much worse.
No, not really. Not that much worse, truly.
And then other running costs, maintenance is pretty much identical.
Yeah.
Insurance might be a little bit more, but not really much.
Not from what I've experienced. It's actually about the same.
So overall,
two cars.
Is it a little bit harsher from the day-to-day? Like,
yes, you can feel the ride is a little harder.
Yeah.
It definitely stiffens up. The clutch is a little bit heavier, I think, than the WRX. Everything about the WRX was a little more daily user-friendly. That's why I said at the end of the day, I'd still give the crown to the WRX.
Yeah.
Truly daily driver.
So this one is the best daily, but gives you that extra enthusiast fun factor.
Yes, for the true enthusiast who just wants every aspect of their experience to be sharpened and really enjoys the drive and doesn't just need a fun drive, but really wants to get the most out of every driving experience. You really can't beat this car if you can find it for a good deal. You really can't beat this car.
Yeah. So then overall, you're happy with the decision?
Yes,
obviously.
I have no regrets after putting the miles that I put on this car, playing around with the differential and all the different modes.
Yeah.
I was telling you on the mountain road, actually being able to shift a little bit of that torque to the rear really helped. It was understeering a little bit. I was struggling to keep up, but that's actually a noticeable difference on the tight roads.
So it gives you that control, like the stock tuning, as we can call it, the tuning of the ability to actually make the car perform better when you're in a performance situation.
Correct.
And then you can lock the differential pretty much for snow and stuff.
Exactly. Snow, gravel, any of those completely loose terrain situations.
Yeah.
You can lock it, send a little bit more to the front if you're having a rainy day or anything like that.
Well, that's cool that, the STI definitely gives you that noticeable difference, and you're using those things, so now it's worth paying for because you're using those.
Correct, yes.
And I'm always a person where I don't want to, if I'm not going to use it, I don't want to pay for it.
No.
Now you're using it, and now it's worth the cost.
Yes, 100%. I've had no regrets for this car. And at the end of the day, if you're a true Subaru fanboy, it's really hard to not want that sound.
I mean, you just got an axle back on it now, and it sounds really good.
3 Subarus later, I can't stop getting these cars.
Yeah, so his first Subaru, when I met him back in college a decade ago, it was 04, 05?
04.
And big old turbo, full boost was at red line.
Pretty much.
It was fun though, it was fun to drive.
It was, it really hits you in the back of the seat there, but...
And then from there, years later, obviously got pretty much just a bone stock WRX, and then now into this. It's stock for now, but you plan to do it like an intake and at least the stage 1 or 2.
Probably stage 1, leave it at that. Just some reliability mods for the most part, because like you said, at the end of the day, this will be my daily driver, and as you just felt, it has more than enough pep for that.
I mean, if we go down into 4th gear, so 3rd gear at 40 miles an hour, I mean, that picks up, and that's 80.
Just like that.
Yeah, it's noticeably a faster car, and from your experience now with the differential and the drive modes, you get to really play with it and the brakes. So that's a cool ownership, I guess, review of the difference between the two and why someone would want this. And I think for your 2 stages of life now, in the last video and this video, the WRX was perfect for last time. And then now you're into that next stage where it's like, all right, now I'm ready for the next performance upgrade.
Yes.
And
you're working your way up like you guys did exactly with your cars.
Yeah.
And you really have a connection with the Subarus. The WRX is a good compensation to get you to that next step when you can, afford the next level car.
Yeah.
And it was a phenomenal car. I still have a lot of good things to say about the WRX for what it is.
Yeah.
But as being a car enthusiast, as bad as much as you guys, there's always that next better car.
For sure. So speaking of better car, in this price range, you could have got a Civic Type R, because I know you're looking at them.
Yes.
You could have, I guess, got a Focus RS, a Audi S3. So why didn't you go with the competitors? Because they're all pretty close. I've driven all of them. They're all great cars. Was it you've owned two of these before, or is there another reason?
Subi boy, fanboy. At this point, from what I've read, the Type R is the slightly better performing car, and there's also the Golf R as well, which is the more refined version. It also has the better performance. And
we have a dog in the middle.
Hello,
of the
dog.
road, guys.
Okay, that's a big dog too.
It's interesting dog.
And then obviously the straight line speed from the Focus RS is probably a little bit better as well. But I think what sold me is just what this car covers as a whole. Is I feel like every one of those cars does one thing better, and I think this car, just the fact that it's been around as long as it has, and it has the heritage that it has.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we all get the cars that speak to us the most.
Yeah.
And so I chose this one because I just have always loved the way they looked, adore the way they sound, and just as the complete package, I think it's just does everything just as well as I need it to.
Yeah, I mean, can't argue with that.
If that was an answer that you were looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say the Type R has better seats, I think, because they're big old buckets.
Yeah.
But it's front-wheel drive, which, while it's the best front-wheel drive car out there,
It is.
it's
Haven't
still
driven
front-wheel
one, but
drive.
from what I've heard. But I will say that they are also still very hard to find for under about $38.40.
Oh, really?
And I picked this up for $33. So
that's pretty good. Yeah.
at the end of the day, I got what I wanted a little bit more for probably $5 to $6 grand less. They're still holding their value really hard, which again these do as well.
And that's in today's market. Like, you bought this when the market was crazy.
Yes.
So that's actually really impressive.
Well, and you just anytime you're going to find a good deal on a car, then of course the increased rate's going to be worth it.
Yeah. And then the S3 is probably better in the refinements and comfort.
Yeah, along with the Golf R, they're really nice as well.
Yeah, that's up to 60. I can see where this it hits all the categories to really give you everything.
Yeah.
And,
it may not have the luxuries of some of them, or like you said, slightly less on the straight line speed, but again, whatever speaks to you the most. And these cars have just they've been around for a while. Subaru's it's a very reliable, established company, and I can't deny as a whole package that this car just has everything just as good as you need it to be.
And I gotta say, I've driven a ton of these, reviewing them. When I worked at a dealership, we sold a ton of these. This is the most I've really driven one. It's a darn good car. And people have commented when I filmed like the Type R and stuff, and I said I liked it better than this, but I've never really driven this as hard as a Type R now.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, I like the seats better than the other one, but I like the all driving this better. So yeah, they definitely have a lot to offer, and I mean, I'm proud of you, I guess, as a friend for getting into the next step up.
It's been nice. It was quite a gap there. It was 2 years of driving something that felt like I was going backwards. It was so slow.
But to kind of go on a different page, one thing we always talk about in our videos and stuff is about how you work hard and you can make something happen. And you took that sacrifice to get rid of a great car.
Yes.
To have a basic little normal car, to do flight school, to do all that.
Yes.
To now accomplish that goal to where you're into a better car now.
100%.
So it's cool, seeing our friends and other people be able to take that step back sometimes.
Delayed gratification is a very powerful thing.
Yeah,
very
so that's awesome. And now, being a pilot, it's going to be going up from here, and you have already plans to add to this car in the next few years, something even crazier.
100%. This will stay the daily, and add a couple cars down the line as things get more established. But
so it's for sure cool to see that, because buying cars isn't just, I have money to buy a car, look at me. It's look what I did to make it happen.
Exactly. It means a lot more. The car is a lot more valuable when you have to wait for it. Not only that, but put in a lot of work to get to that point.
And I know you've been busting your butt. And actually, we flew with him. We have a video. I'll link that below.
Yeah.
So we were one of your students.
Yes. Well, we'll have to go up again sometime.
We do. So what do you like better, flying or driving this?
It depends. The airplane.
Yeah.
Certain airplanes are hard to beat, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm more of a car enthusiast than anything.
Yeah.
The airplane is for work. This is for fun.
Yeah. Nice. All right, so that is it for the Subaru WRX STI. So not gonna lie, I have driven a ton of these. I had the most fun in your car today because I've never really been able to rip on it because obviously I've either driven brand new ones or ones that I'm selling at the dealership.
It's also the exhaust.
Sounds good, yeah. It's a good car. It really is a pretty solid car. Ending thoughts, so kind of overview of the car, kind of to conclude the entire video.
Love the WRX. It is, if you want that car that you can commute to work in, that just gives you that extra step of fun, phenomenal car. If you want everything, tighter steering, tighter suspension, a little bit more boost, better sound, more, you know, variability in how it drives, this is the car for you. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Yeah, STI, definitely a great car. Congrats again on the purchase.
I appreciate it.
In the best color, like hands down, freaking awesome in blue. And the lime green or lime yellow on the calipers just is a perfect little touch. You wouldn't expect that color to match, but it looks so good.
It works.
But I think that is it for today's video. Cool review of Connor's new STI, sweet car. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content to come, and I'll see you guys in the next video.